Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Minecraft here from Heroes Landing. I have been away for about 2 straight weeks. I have not touched my computer. I haven't logged into Minecraft in about 2 straight weeks. And let me tell you guys, it's been really refreshing, but coming back is always super difficult. But one of the benefits that coming back after a little bit of a break kind of rewards you with is fresh eyes. And so yeah, I've been kind of wandering around. I've been riding my horse a little bit more so that we can get acquainted with the world again. And let me tell you guys, this world's a little flat, it's a little boring, a little bit lifeless. So I started things out here with a brand new custom tree down here by our bridge. There was a regular Minecraft tree right here, so I kind of just replaced it with this brand new big tree. And yeah, I kind of just messed around with some blocks and some coloring in there. You can see we have a little bit of acacia wood, some of the spruce mixed in and everything. And I think it came out pretty cool. I like the kind of like shadows it casts, and from a distance, it looks much better than the regular Minecraft trees, in my opinion. So I'm liking this, but the thing is that this one tree doesn't do all of this area justice. It brings a little bit more life into the area and a little bit more realism with a nice large tree here. But yeah, these torches in the road, those don't help things out. So we have a little bit more work to do around here. I want to bring in some like fences, some bushes and things, but I don't want to do just along the road, like the edges of the road. I want to do some things off in the distance a little bit so that your eyes kind of get drawn off into the distance over that like railing. If you put like we could put fence posts. Let's see. I guess I don't have any fence posts, but if we put a couple things like right here, I want our eyes to kind of move past those and into the distance. So I want to do a little bit of stuff along the road, mix in some cobblestone maybe or some other materials into the roadway just to kind of break up the coarse dirt pathway that we have here, and bring in some actual lighting into the area as it starts to rain here. And yeah, like I said, just bring some things into the distance that your eye kind of gets drawn to off in the area. I think that'll be really cool, and like I said, it'll bring a little bit more life to the area as well. Okay, so we have a little bit of progress here on the pathway leading up to our starter base. So let's check it out. I brought in some like large bushes using the oak and the mangrove. We actually have the mangrove roots in there, just kind of giving it a little bit of a darker texture underneath. And I've also started to bringing the tall grass back into the pathway with the grass blocks. But I think I'm going to switch those grass blocks back out for the coarse dirt, because if you see, we have somewhere. Hold on a second. We have some of the grass just sitting on the coarse dirt. Yeah, like right up here. And I think that just looks a little bit better than the grass blocks in there. The grass blocks just kind of break it up too much. So I think if we keep the tall grass on the coarse dirt, that looks just a little bit more natural, a little bit better in my opinion. But up here you can see we added a little bit too much, I think. And I think this is just a little too chaotic, a little bit like the path is kind of getting overgrown. So I think I want to dumb it down a little bit up here and kind of just smooth it out a little bit more. And then, like I said, just use it on top of the coarse dirt. I think that'll look a little bit better. You can also see we added some fence posting around here with the torches sitting on the fence post. That looks a little bit better than being directly in the pathway. And we also brought in some lichen on the path just to help brighten things up during the night. That way we're not getting mobs spawning directly on the pathway. We're also using moss off the path, and we have some we have some light sources underneath the moss carpet here just to keep things bright around the path. That way we're not running into trouble as we're trying to make our way back to our base and whatnot. And we also, like I said, we have some of these large bushes off in the edges and some large stones. So we have one over there and one over here as well. So those are looking really nice. But what I think I want to do is add a couple small ones, just like a couple slabs on the edges and things, just to make it look like they are more natural. If we just have one or two, it kind of looks a little funky. But if we bring in some smaller ones, that way it doesn't look like one big block out here in the open. It looks a little bit more natural. The other thing I want to do too is grab some stone buttons and place them around, just to make them look like kind of small pebbles and everything that are kind of accumulated on the edge of the road. And yeah, I think that'll look really good. And I also want to try to grab some rooted dirt to mix into this coarse dirt. I don't think we can do path block. I think if we use path blocks, it's going to look a little too, I don't know. It's going to break up the material too much, I think. So if we grab some rooted dirt and mix that in, I think that'll look really good as well. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and kind of finish this up. And I think that'll be, pretty good for now. One additional thing I want to do kind of off in the edge of our eyesight here is up on this hill. I want to kind of flatten things out a little bit and build like a ruined fortress or something, kind of just an old structure that's kind of crumbled away. I think that'll look really cool kind of off in the edge of our eyesight as we're kind of making our way down here. You get the large bridge off in the distance, and you also get that kind of ruined structure here on this hillside. I think that'll look really cool and bring this little area to life a little bit more. Okay, so I am up here working on this decrepit like castle or fortress outpost thing. And yeah, I think this is like a good little basic outline. So I think we're gonna do like a doorway here, and then we're gonna have like the main building over here. So this will be kind of just like a little bit of a courtyard type of deal. So we'll put some coarse dirt in throughout here and everything. And then there'll be like another doorway here, I think, and then there'll be like a second story that you can kind of see up through. Obviously there won't be a roof or anything, as this could, like I said, it's gonna be decrepit. So I think this is a pretty good little shape. It doesn't have to be too large, and then we'll just add a bunch of detail to it, like I said, to make it look like it's kind of fallen down and everything. And then like once we're down on the road and we're looking up at it, I think it'll look really cool kind of up here on this hilltop. Okay, so let's check it out. The pathway is looking so much better with the little bit of coarse dirt, the grass kind of growing up on the dirt, a little bit of rocks brought in. We have a couple of these smaller boulders with our bigger boulders over here. Everything's looking really, really nice. We got some bushes and everything, and then off in the distance, we have our ruined little castle or fortress up there on the hill. And you can see also we have a little bit of like an overgrown pathway here. You can kind of tell there used to be a path, but it is all grown in now, and it kind of dissipates as you get further up. But once you get up here, it does come back, let's see, right up on this hill here. Yeah, you can see it starts to kind of poke in again. I think we should extend it a little bit further, but just don't have the materials at the moment. I like this color of this horse. This is a beautiful horse. But yeah, check out our little ruined fortress here. We have some overgrown stuff going on in the inside. Things are falling apart and everything. I love this. I think it's just a little more atmospheric and everything. I think it looks so cool. And once you get up here, you can kind of take a look at the landscape and everything. Yeah, I think it's just really, really cool. A lot of details brought in here. Got some windows and everything. And I just, like I said, it's just meant to kind of catch your eye as you're walking along the pathway, kind of off in the distance, but I love it. I think it looks so very nice. So with the new pathway leading up to the house, I need to start working on kind of this entry here that we have into the, like into our land, I suppose. We need to spruce this up a little bit. We have this tree here that I've been collecting honey from for a while. So I think I want to kind of leave this here, but obviously bring in some custom trees kind of surrounding this entryway. That way it kind of looks like a little bit more arced as you kind of enter in here. Again, we'll spruce up the path itself, get rid of these torches that are kind of just screwing about, work on these stones a little bit. So these were my original stones that I did over here, but I kind of want to get rid of these little spiky bits and kind of just smooth things out a little bit. I think it'll look a little bit better. I don't know what I was thinking by bringing these little spiky bits in. I think they'll look a little weird in my opinion now. I guess my mind has just changed a little bit on that, but actually the lawn doesn't look that bad. So we might have to just bring in some more custom trees to kind of surround the house, and like I said, work on the path itself and kind of the entryway into here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's check it out. We have two brand new trees here encompassing our entryway into our little area here where we have our starter base. And I have to say, I absolutely love these trees. I love the way the little beehive hangs off the edge here as you kind of enter in. But there is one last thing that I need to do here at the entryway, and that is to set up a little bit of a mailbox. I'm thinking right here is probably pretty good. Probably pretty good, right? I might have to do a little bit more with this. This is pretty simple, but I think a little mailbox here at the entryway is just going to be suited for this area a little bit as well. But I love it. And yeah, again, we have fixed up the roadway into our little house here. We have added some torches, or rather, we've taken away the torches and added some lanterns, added some rocks and things around the edges of the path as well, all the way up into here. And I strategically made it so that we don't have the rooted dirt kind of coming up into the hill here, because at the top of the hill we have the path blocks as we enter our house. So I kind of wanted to create that distinction between all of it as well. So I'm absolutely loving this. It feels so much better as we continue to walk down into here. It just feels a lot more live and things are looking a lot better. One thing I'd like to do as we continue on a little bit here is kind of just put up a little bit of sprigs, small trees along the edges of the road here, just to kind of separate the road from the rest of the forest as well. And then in the back of our house, we can see that it's pretty empty. We have a couple of these large spruce trees, but it's actually kind of empty up there. So I'm thinking we just duplicate these and bring in a couple more variants of these type of spruce trees, because yeah, look at this hill is totally empty and the back side of the house is completely empty. This was due from when we cleared out the area to build our house here. So yeah, I think we just need to build up a few more trees in the back of the house here just to kind of encompass the area a little bit. We can get rid of this bamboo that we have here, and we can get rid of this temporary portal as well. Bring some more rocks and stuff into the backyard, and maybe we set up like a carriage, because since we have this little pathway here, maybe we have a carriage that's parked out back in this area, and that'll be good for our starter base, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it out. As we step out back here, you can see we put in a bunch of trees, and we have a nice little woodworking station here right in front of us, kind of cutting up some wood from our logs over here. We have a nice little cart, and we brought in the coarse dirt and everything's looking so much more alive back here, especially with the little particles coming through and everything. This just has such a nice little view, and I love it, especially with this little workstation. Now that we've gone ahead and added a ton more atmosphere to this little pathway leading down from our house to the open world, yeah, like I said, I was gonna do a few more trees here, but now that, like I said, now that we've brought some more atmosphere to this area, I mean, my creative side is just going bonkers, and I think what would be really, really fun is if we use our little camera here, is if we just kind of knock a lot of these trees back and start putting in custom trees throughout this entire forest area here on both sides. Like, I think we should do some over into this area just to kind of tie it all together, because a few custom trees and then a bunch of naturally grown trees, it just doesn't really work for me. So I think what we need to do is start collecting up all of these leaves, start chopping down a ton of these trees. I think we should leave some of the natural trees here, but we definitely need to make space for some custom birch trees, some custom oak trees. And then as we get towards the mountain, we'll have to bring in those giant spruce trees again. But you can see, actually, we have this waterfall over here as well. We have this little one here, but I think we're going to block that one off and just keep with this one and do like a nice waterfall stretching down into here. And once we get these trees gone, there's going to be kind of this giant crater here. So we're going to have to bring in some dirt and level things out, and I think it's just gonna look so beautiful once we make an entire custom forest out here. And yeah, I think it's just gonna be such a fun and cool project now that we've gotten started. I just can't stop. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start collecting up all these trees, and yeah, we'll bring in some dirt and level things off and see what we can do. Okay, so that's already like 4 shulker chests of leaves that we've done just in the little bit of work so far that we've done. But we've created a nice opening here to see the giant hole that we have to patch in. So now obviously we have to go through and cut all these trees down and stuff, but I need to get some dirt first. So I think I'm going to jump over to Blossom Town, because there's a little spot there where I want to start smoothing out the ground so that we can bring some fields in closer to the town. So I'm going to jump over there and collect some of that dirt. All right, now that I'm down here and I'm looking over Blossom Town, I'm realizing just how like unfinished we left this. So we definitely need to tidy up the surrounding riverbeds here, like this wall. We gotta do something about that wall. And this guy is just wandering around half dead. We gotta put him somewhere where he's gonna be in our town. Yeah, then we have, hello, Mr. Cow. We have some pathways out here still we gotta clean up and everything, and then this unfinished bridge with no road leading out to it yet. So we definitely gotta tidy some things up around here, and then we can add a plan in place over on the other side here where we can kind of continue this town. But the main reason why we're out here is these hills. So I'm gonna take down this hill and this hill over here and just kind of flatten this whole area out so that it's all on one kind of level plane with itself. Okay, so with a little bit of dirt gathered up and things smoothed out a little bit, it's looking a heck of a lot better over here. But I do want to go ahead and build up this bridge before we move on because, yeah, that'll really kind of frame in this town, and then we can work on the riverbeds a little bit and kind of just a little bit of the surrounding area as well, just bringing it a little bit more to life. We won't finish this project today, but I do want to bring a little bit more life to this town and get things looking a little bit better. Okay, so with the duplicate bridge in place, I need to do a little bit of terraforming here so that we can continue the road down to the bridge and kind of like around these buildings. I think if we take it from here and kind of bring it over around so that it connects up over there, that'll be a good start for like adding some additional buildings on the other side of like this side of the road. I think that'll be a good start. And yeah, like I said, we just need to do a little bit of terraforming so that we can bring this road kind of smoothly out into connecting to the bridge. And then, like I said, connecting up that road over around these buildings. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so I got a little carried away with the road here and started to decorate just a little bit. So let's take a look. As we put the roadway in here, I brought in some coarse dirt around this little area here. It started to build out a little wagon, but I decided I want to do dark oak for the framing of this, just so it doesn't blend in with the spruce as much. And we have some barrels and stuff over here in the corner. And as we round the street here, you can see it kind of opens up a little bit more this direction than it did previously. Over here, we brought in some flowers and some pots and things and just a little bit of a table, and we brought in some more moss and everything just to bring it all a little bit more to life over here in this area. And then the backside of our little restaurant area, we continued with the little bit of like a restaurant on the outside as well. And I think we can do a little bit more decorating over here as well. I just kept it a little bit simple for now. I didn't, like I said, I got a little bit carried away doing this. And I was like, you know what? I need to do a progress update before I continue. So this is what we're kind of theming things around. I think this is gonna be really cool once we continue to build this out and finish this up a little bit. And as you can see, the roadway kind of continues into our giant blossom tree here, and we continued it all the way around this nice large white building here. The last thing I want to do, though, with this roadway, it's actually fork it off in this direction, and I think that'll give us a nice space here to build out an additional building. I'm not sure what we'll do for the building yet, but I think another building right here, probably on an angle, would be really nice. And then this road will continue out this direction as well, giving us a nice frame for another building on this side as well. So I think this is going to be really cool once we continue over here, but the night is coming, and I think it's time we got back to our forest over by our starter base. All right, so with the hole filled in, it is now time to go ahead and start building some trees up here and start thinning out the forest that is currently in place and kind of building a forest on top of it. I don't want to remove all of the trees, but I do want to remove enough so that we can kind of build some custom trees that kind of overlap these a little bit and then just kind of fill things in a little bit. We'll bring in some grass, and we'll bring in a little bit of path blocking throughout here as well so that we can get up to the waterfall. And then once we get enough trees in here and I'm feeling comfortable, then we'll move on to the waterfall itself. So let me go ahead and get some trees brought in and see how things are progressing from there. All right, everybody, check this out. So we have gotten quite a bit of progress put on the forest here, but a lot more to go as well. But yeah, we can see we have a bunch of different trees brought in here. We have a bunch of little stuff going on, as well as like some of these little sapling trees. We have some bushes, and like I said, just the tall, nice oak trees. And we have a nice little birch tree back here as well, looking very nicely put in there. And I'm just loving this feeling so far. But yeah, we've just kind of scratched the surface on getting this forest built up, because I mean, this is like 5 hours worth of work, and yeah, we only have like this corner of the forest kind of started. But yeah, you can see we're starting to detail things out, as well as bringing in some like moss and like some, you know, fallen trees kind of turning into mossy trees and everything, and I'm just loving it. I think it's gonna be really cool once it's all done and we continue to bring in like these little sapling trees throughout and bring in some more foliage on the ground as well. I think everything's just gonna feel really good once you start walking through the forest and kind of get lost in it all as well. And you can see we're leaving a lot of these little trees kind of down below the larger trees as well, so I think everything's gonna feel really good once it's all said and done. But I just wanted to bring you in for a little bit of a progress update so so you can kind of see how it's feeling as we're going, and show you guys kind of what the process is, which is just building up these tall trees here, which I'm actually only using 3 different oak trees right now. So we have this tall guy, which we're just rotating and building up, and then we're just shrinking it down and then kind of extending it higher as well, just to create some variance from this single tree. And then, like I said, we're just bringing in this tree again and the one more other oak tree as well. And then, yeah, we have our birch tree, and we have one more birch tree too that I want to try out and see if that kind of fits in here. I'm not sure that it will as well as this one. I like this one quite a bit. And then, yeah, like I said, just kind of covering the ground and filling in kind of this empty space with these smaller trees and larger bushes. That way your eye line is kind of cut off and you can't just see through the forest. You actually kind of have to move around some things to see all the way through. So yeah, I'm loving it. I'm just gonna continue on here and try to get this done, and yeah, I'll bring you guys in for the final product. All right, everybody, I have spent just about 2 days working on this forest, and I've built up nearly 30 different trees in this forest, and let me tell you, we're not even complete yet, but we have a ton of progress. So let me take you guys through the forest. As you can see, I am on a brand new path here. And ignore our little chests here, but you can see, guys, this forest is really starting to come to life as we built up this pathway here over to our waterfall, which we haven't done anything on yet, but I wanted to bring you guys back to show you kind of this pathway into the forest. And we need a little bit more work around here as well, but this thing is feeling really nice. I love moving through this forest now and kind of just looking at the ground level. We have a ton of work to do still, but yeah, everything's coming together really well. As you kind of move through the forest, you can kind of find different types of things going on. We have a bunch of rocks and everything. We have different mossy logs that have kind of fallen over. We have one over there as well. And yeah, everything's just coming to life. We need a ton more bone meal through here. But like I said, we kind of built up this pathway over to our waterfall because there's going to be a stream kind of connecting down through this valley right here. And so that's where I'm going to be working on next. I just wanted to bring you guys in. So this pathway kind of comes up to the riverbed here and underneath the waterfall. So we need to bring in some rocks on the edges of the waterfall, build up this riverbed a little bit so that everything kind of feels nice as it kind of winds its way down. And I think that's going to be pretty good. Like I said, we need to do some more bone mealing, need to build up a few more trees, but I'm a little exhausted from all the tree building, to be honest. Like I said, nearly 30 different custom trees throughout here, and that's not even including these little ones and like the bushes and everything that we've done. So yeah, a little bit of exhaustion kind of starting to set in, but I'm ready to take my focus over to this waterfall now. Okay, so this being the first time that I've kind of made my own custom riverbed, I'm trying to figure out the shape and the direction that I want to do this. So I think I'm going to raise it up a little bit instead of bringing it down because of this little overpass spot. So I want this to be a little bit higher than the river, but I kind of want the river to curve up into it a little bit. So I think I'm going to raise it up a few blocks and kind of thin out the, what would you call this, the width of the waterfall. I think I'm going to thin it out a little bit into the river, and then I'm going to kind of drop it down a couple blocks here so that it kind of comes down into this valley a little bit more, and then continue it on over to about there. I think that'll be a good spot to finish for today, and then we'll continue it on later at some other point. But I think I want to bring that down just a couple of blocks and then into this valley. I think that'll be pretty good. And like I said, I'll thin it out a little bit and kind of build up like a bowl shape into the river. I think that should be good. This is definitely a learning curve for me, so let's just see what I can come up with. Okay, so I think this is going to do pretty well for the riverbed. I think this is going to be really cool. So I just need to build up the land from like here over into the mountain a little bit, smooth that out a little more, and then smooth it out into this like into the forest a little bit as well. This side will be a little bit more difficult. I kind of wish I would have taken it another step down, kind of like towards like this area, but I think this should be fine. I think we'll be able to smooth it out just fine. But now I want to focus on this waterfall here. So I think what we need to do, where the water kind of levitates on top of blocks as like naturally generated, so I want to dig out the terrain and actually like block off the waterfall for a moment and like dig out the terrain down into the river. That way when we let it go again, it kind of sinks into the terrain rather than sitting on top of it. I think that should work pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start digging this out a little bit more and shaping out how it's gonna fall into this mountain a little bit better. Okay, so with the waterfall more or less in place here, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I want to tidy up a little bit up top still, but I think this part looks pretty good. So I'm just going to continue to expand the river all the way down to where we kind of finished it off down there. So I think that'll be pretty good, and then we can decorate around the edges of the river as well. Bringing in some rocks and things like that around the edges will really make this look a lot better and a lot more like an actual riverbed more than just whatever this looks like right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, there you have it, our brand new custom forest with our beautiful waterfall into our custom river that is bisecting our forest is all complete. And let me say that I just absolutely love this project. I love the way that this waterfall came out and all the stonework and everything around it just looks so nice. And down into this riverbed here where we can kind of come over and hang out. And if we want, we could do a little bit of fishing here at this little spot. And yeah, we have a lot more customization to do with this riverbed here. But everything's coming out really, really nicely. And I think this is just a great spot to, end the episode with this high note here. And yeah, I love the forest. I love how everything came out. And as we kind of move along, you get these nice little views throughout the forest and everything. And I just love this so very much. So let me end by saying thank you for joining, and if you did make it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I know that this episode has been a few weeks out, and that it's a much different episode than what I have been putting out previously, but it's nice to kind of just take a step back and kind of touch nature for a little bit, and yeah, kind of just enjoy playing Minecraft at a slower pace and without such a strenuous plan in place that I have to follow. It's kind of nice to just kind of wing it and see what comes out. So yeah, again, thank you so much if you did make it this far. Thank you for sticking around, and guys, I will see you in the next episode.